Hey, hey, hey. It's ya girl. How y'all doing? We're gonna turn that down. Let me know how the music's doing. Let me know how I'm sounding. How's everybody doing here today? Alright, let's see. Did I forget anything before we get too far into this? Let's see. Alright, I've got the Mox field set up right, so that's good. Y'all should be able to see that. And I've got that set up too. Great. Okay. Well, if something's not working, please make sure to let me know. If I'm sounding weird, make sure to let me know. Otherwise, we're going to start rolling. Alright, now, what are we doing today? That's a great question. Well, we've got the arena open. The deck title does say it, but we've got Green, White, Nerds. Green, White, Nerds is an evolution of Green, White, Idiots, which is to say, I didn't want to call them idiots, even though they are definitely idiots. The basic idea of this deck is that we're playing most of the Watch Wolves on Arena. Or, well, not really. We're playing a good handful of Watch Wolves. We've got Bristly Bill, we've got Cankerbloom, we've got Mosswood Dreadknight, we've got Propagator Primordium. We're not playing some of the other ones that exist. I cut Malira, Living Cure in this last pass. We've got the Gaze, which is always important. I will not cut them, do not ask. And, you know, we've got some other just stupid creatures on the uptick. You know, we've got Luminarch Aspirant here, we've got Bristly Bill, we've got Bloated Contaminator, we got the new Ornery Tumblewag as well from the green creature package. We've got Colossal Rattleworm, which also means that we've added back in Sheffet Dunes. This was cut for a while, but hey, it's kind of free. Obviously, taking a damage off of land, less good, but we can make it work. As far as other things to consider in this deck... Oh, did I... Oops. 1 second. I need to make a quick change. I'll need to fix that in the Mox field as well. Lush. I honestly only crafted this card recently, even though I've been playing green-white, so let's fix that one. Let me fix that here as well, so that y'all see it correct in the deck tab. Otherwise, yeah, this is what I'm jamming here today. I've got... You know, it's been a while, to say the very least. Not gonna, you know... There's been a lot going on for the L, especially this last year. But I've missed doing this, honestly. It's been a fun one. And I've been looking real forward to being able to do this again. So I'm excited to be able to jam some games once we get a match started here. Obviously, if anyone in chat wants to jam, happy to do it. Otherwise, you know, we're just gonna enjoy the chill vibes, honestly. I don't have like a backup thing to do in arena while we're waiting, which maybe was a poor choice, but work from there. Hey Andre, how you doing? Or Andre? Andrek? Do you prefer Andrek or Andre? Andre K? Andre K? Which one do you prefer? I never asked. But otherwise, you know, it's going well. It's a Monday after work, so, you know, that's always going to be a fun one for how we keep the energy alive, but that's kind of why I'm doing this. I want to see if I can do this. So, you know, we're going to keep an eye on things as they sort of develop here. You know, it's not a thing I've really sort of tested. All right, we'll go with Andre. Hopefully that is solid. But yeah, let's talk about some cards in here quickly. I went through the sort of basic overview. I'm testing Stoneforge Mystic. This is one that might not stick in the deck, at least not for a little while. We don't have a lot of sort of generic good equipment. We have some pieces. I'm running 2 of them here and then a 3rd one. So we're going to see how that goes. But I've got the Lion Sash, which is here as a yard hate piece, especially with the prominence of Rihanna Midrange in the format. This card's just good. And then obviously, getting found off of Stoneforge means that I have a way to have basically, this is basically my third copy of Scavenging Ooze, since this is copies 2 and 3 with Stoneforge. And then there's Lava Spur Boots from the new set. This is +1/+0, haste, and ward 1. I will always defend Boots of Speed. I said that card was a lot better than folks gave it credit, and I still think I might be right on that. But hey, this card is just an even better version of that card, so I'm more than happy to see it. And then of course we've got the Shadow Spear. Shadow Spear is nice because it removes things like Hexproof and Indestructible, which is obviously strong. And then getting the +1/+1 lifelink and trample is absurd. So, you know, it's going to help us in mid-range mirrors. It's going to be sort of our generic target if we don't want another body on board or if we don't want haste. Yeah, Shadow Spear and Sash is a fine package. I've liked the Lava Spur Boots. Giving every creature haste is sort of a thing that I don't think folks will rate high enough in any situation. And then especially in a deck like this where haste is sort of in small bursts out of creatures like Questing Beast or flash creatures like Containment Priest or the Wandering Emperor, I think that there's something to be said by just having the ability to sort of turn on haste at any time. And having it as a tutor target especially helps that. But even like, I've even played it in mono red mid-range even, and it's been just quite good there. And I think that any decks that have a slot for equipment can sort of get away with it. Especially if you have creatures with activated abilities or stuff, you know, in this case, Deathrite Shaman is what I'm referencing here, but even stuff like Giver of Runes and Giant Killer. It's just good to have it as an option, basically, to allow you some more play in more situations. You know, good old Knight of the Reliquary. Yeah, like exactly. And I'm not exactly in a position where I want to jam every 4-mana 4/4 with haste. I absolutely could, but I don't think that's where I want to be with this deck right now. So I think instead having the ability to just grant it off of Lava Spur Boots enables some powerful draws out of the deck, and then also just means that I don't need to play cards that are progressively worse than Questing Beast to get that out of my creatures. I can sort of just, you know, I can slam it on a Tireless Tracker or whatever and get in. But yeah, otherwise, I've got some other decks here. We might swap onto something else depending on how the vibe is. Stuff I have updated. I have Pirates updated. Pirates is looking like Pirates. You know, that's sort of the biggest boon and the biggest downside of the deck is that it sort of just always looks the same because it's a bunch of medium weirdos. Otherwise, you know, we got some stuff in here. And then there's stuff like Mono Red Midrange. I updated Cats. I think I updated Hammer Time. Did I update Hammer Time? I did. Okay. So I've got Hammer Time as well. So we could try to Colossus Hammer people. That's an option. I've got Mardu Party, which this list was surprisingly real, so I might jam this later too. You know, we've got 3 hours here, in theory, depending on how the energy is, so we can definitely switch between stuff. You looking to jam a game, Andre? Or are you sort of just chilling? Either way is fine. Hey, howdy. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, no, you're fine, Andre. Don't worry about it. Of course, the time that I decide to stream, LFG decides to quiet out. It's fine. Yeah, how's the day treating you, howdy? How you doing? How's it been? No, I very subtly plugged the stream earlier today. Glad to hear it. Alright, Howdy. I'm watching you. Fun little arena bug. We've got a Stingerback Terror here. Little stretched right now. Some cards play very weirdly when they're the deck box image, so it's always fun to see which ones work and which ones don't. Alright. Let's see what we can work with here. This hand's slow. But it does have yard hate, which is nice. But it's also slow. Alright, you know what? This is a very weak but safe keep that you could keep in the blind. Of the two decks that I know Howdy could be on, one of them this hand is awful against. The other one, it's okay against. This one being able to hit the yard is pretty good, but probably not a keep. So we're gonna try them all and hope to find something a bit better. See, this is the kind of hand that we can find, which is why we definitely want a mulligan, because we can find a better hand for sure. As far as what I'm tossing back, I'm going to throw back this Deathrite Shaman. We could try to keep it and hope they have a fetch to try to go for the Ranger Captain and a Vios on 2, but I think I would rather just play it safer. Even if this Delighted Halfling isn't technically ramping into this Ranger Captain, I think it's fine. Alternatively, something I considered, and something I maybe should have considered more, you can also just mull the Ranger Captain. Well, turn 1 monkey off of a snow-covered forest, so doesn't tell us anything about what they're playing. Because they could either be on Jeskai or they could be on red-black. Okay, Jeskai. I see. Or Grixis. They've been jamming Grixis a little bit too. We're gonna just slam the Ranger class here. Make them have it. It's a card that, you know, it gives us a threat, which they have to answer. It gives us the ability to grow creatures, which they also want to answer. Okay, so it's Grixis Reanimator. There we go. Now we have our answer. Yeah, my list is on Moxfield. It should actually be in the extension on the screen, but I'll also post it in chat. This is the list that I am running currently in chat. But there should be a little extension on screen that you can click that has the Moxfield icon that also has the list listed there. So, whichever one works best for you. Alright, that's a Harvester of Misery. Not great, not awful. They might hit this Giver of Runes with it, depending on what their hand looks like. So, we'll have to see. Undercity Sewers, okay. Surveillant, good, good. Milling a Palantir, okay. Alright, we got the Prismatic Vista, which means that we'll have our other forest online. As far as what we play, I think the play is Shadow Spear. I kind of want to hold up Get Lost right now. And I kind of want to see if I can get some more mana before I play this Ranger Captain. I feel like a reanimation spell is coming soon. Or this is dig through time. They might dig through time and leave like a Waker of Waves. Mausoleum Secrets, okay. So, we are in a good place if this is finding Reanimate. We are in a bad place if this is finding Victimize. which are the two cards that I think could be found right now. And if they have Victimize, well, we have this, we kept up this Get Lost, which makes this, you know, which makes a Victimize bad for them and they don't know it. Which would be cool. But who knows? If they're getting Reanimate, then we just get reanimated and then we hit it. Mausoleum Secrets on 3, they could be getting like a Crucius or something. Dark Ritual. The reanimation spell, or the reanimator target they want to cast is in hand. Interesting. Which one do you want for 6 mana? Holy shit. Okay, well... Alright, well, we dealt with the first one. If they reanimate this Sauron, we're not removing it. But we do have the Shadow Spear, which means that the first one is not an issue. We definitely take those, as it were. Also, feel free to let me know how the background music is. I am keeping it purposefully quiet currently to just try and, you know, not overbear. But it is there, so let me know if I need to turn it up or, you know, if I need to switch it, anything like that. I'm running through some songs currently while I figure out, you know, obviously got to be careful about copywritten stuff because I want to keep myself able to post these if wanted. Okay, that's fine. Orcish Bowmasters, A-okay. I'm glad that I cracked the Ranger Captain there because I feel like they might have a reanimation spell in hand. And I feel like I cannot beat them reanimating Sauron right now. Or at least not in a meaningful way. So I'm going to continue to slam with this Giver, and I'm just going to sort of Giver, as it were. Slamming with the Giver of Runes. We could keep it back to try to protect this Deathrite Shaman, but if they're removing the Deathrite Shaman beforehand, I still feel okay about what I'm targeting. If they cast a Victimize here, it's not great. That's also not great. Especially with this Cankerbloom in hand that I could have held on to. But hopefully it's not too bad. Well, you know, sometimes they have the Gristlebrand. Thankfully, we do just get to blast this, we get to blast this sneak attack thereafter. So, we do have that to look forward to, that we can just blast this sneak attack thereafter. Okay. Alright. I'm going to wait for this Gristlebrand to die. And then I'm going to eat it. I'm attacking first here to make sure that they can't just... I don't want them to block with the knowledge that this sneak attack is going away. That way I can do this safely. We've got a Swords on top. Swords is good for us. Victimize, still bad for us. Notably, still quite bad for us. Hey, welcome, Goose von Kaiser. Hopefully you're having a good day. How's it going? Ooh, they left all the reanimation targets. Bold. Alrighty. Hope you're having a good day. How's it going? Rude. Alright, I'm gonna hit this Sarin here. Again, it's the card that I am most concerned about. Oh hell yeah. Goose, that's great to hear. Green White Mid's going alright so far. This is the first game of the stream. You know, it's Green White mid range. It's gonna sort of do the thing. We've got a 5/6 Giver of Runes, which is a good sign. We've got a fully cooked Ranger class, which is also a good sign generally. I guess we could have turned off the draw 2 on that Tainted Indulgence. I don't think that's worth it, but it's something that we could have done. Well, they're playing Unholy Heat, which means that they either forgot about the Giver of Runes or have 2 removal spells. They forgot about Giver of Runes. So they're using a second removal spell that they didn't want to use. Okay. With that in mind, I think I'm hitting this Waker of Waves. The other mode on it isn't live right now, and Spectre of Misery or whatever is not actually... I'm not worried about a Harvester of Misery right now, so I don't really care about that one. Otherwise, yeah, the game's been good so far. My days have been alright, you know. This is my first stream back in a long time, at least as the solo stream goes, so this is sort of a test of endurance, as it were, to see how I hold up. Because, you know, if I can hold up, great. That means that I've got this that I can do now. If not, then, you know, that's something that I investigate further thereafter. We've got Containment Priest here, ready on top. It's a card that I am testing at the moment to... because of the fact that a lot of folks really like green, red-black Reanimator. It's a... Ooh, and we ate the counterspell on the Bloated Contaminator. Let's go! I'll be honest with you, I might just hold this. Like, if they try to reanimate this Harvester of Misery, I don't think I care. I now care. So unfortunately, they're still cast. So, it's not going to stop this Atraxa. But I wanted the Containment Priest. Because I'm not letting them chump with the Containment Priest. I needed the Boromir. Yeah. Still cast. Didn't want you to have it. So, Unfortunately, I knew that wasn't going to work, but very unfortunate that it doesn't work. So, you know, them's the beats, as it were. Yeah, I sure did let the Reanimator deck get to 7 mana. You know, we could call it what it is, but I did let them get to 7 mana. Yeah, so I did fully know how that interaction was going to work, even when I did it. It's just one of those things of, you know, sometimes you have to do it. I could try to protect this Containment Priest. Maybe that's better. I think that I'm more likely to win this game if I make them play aggressively and then respond. Also, I can cast this with Flash thanks to my Hash Up Oasis. Anyhow, entirely unrelated to HD Dabnado's comments, there is an announcement for the format coming tomorrow. Very exciting news. There's going to be a big announcement from the council tomorrow. And it's going to be something that folks are excited about, I hope. You know? It's not like one of those things where everything's changing or anything like that. You're allowed to wildly speculate in chat. I'm allowed to answer or not answer at my own discretion. So, you know, don't expect me to, you know, say anything coy or otherwise about it. But I also reserve my rights to anyway. I'll take 7 here. Okay. Things to keep in mind. 7, 10. I can put them to 1. Well, they could still block, but I could technically, potentially, put them to 1. Otherwise, I'm still doing 4 here, which puts them in dire straits. I'm also going to play this pig and activate this pig in their upkeep in response to the ring trigger. So if they want to draw more cards, they have to choose to do so now without any extra information, and they take 3. Because it's going to use last known information. So that gives me the most realistic chance possible to kill them next turn. I do have to worry about them having like a haste reanimation spell. Or removal spell for this Giver of Runes. Because if they have removal for Giver plus like what's it called? Plus interaction, then I die. I do also have to worry about the fact that they can reanimate this Harvester. They're only at 6, they're not at 5. So as long as they don't tap that mana confluence this turn, they are free to use that reanimate on the Harvester, which means that they could just kill this first little pig. Otherwise, you know, this is also something that I was considering and had to worry about. It is extra funny here, but thankfully this just is fine. I think they were doing it for the meme. We'll find out. But otherwise, I think they're dead. They're actually even dead before I killed the zombie, so that's cool. But yeah, attacking for 9 here. So would have been 7 without it. So, you know, hey, you can beat these reanimator decks. They put an Atali and an Atraxa in play. They sneak attacked out a Grizzlebrand, and who won that match? They had the One Ring in play. Who won that match? Chat. I'm not gonna get on this too much today. As you know, it's one of those things that players will definitely talk about a lot. It's like there's no way to answer this deck. What are you doing? There's nothing can be done. But like also you can just play Magic and you can beat these decks. Not enough people respect the mid-range beatdown. So I'm only gonna tease folks a little bit about it. That is rad as shit though, that a Palantir of Orthanc untapped to Rona. That's like peak Magic the Gathering for me. Nah, not a chance. Always mill. Always mill. No more orb to ponder. I'm also just going to cash this in now. I don't think they're going to have a Wrath, and I think I would rather just have a beater. I have a removal spell for something down the line. And I know that they don't have a bolt anymore, and they just discarded a Bone Shards. That's terrifying. What do you have? What do you have? Anyhow. Is Howdy on Meat Hook? Probably. We're going to play like Howdy is on Meat Hook. If Howdy has like a bolt here or whatever, Flames of Anor, I don't care. But I'm gonna play like Howdy could have Meat Hook. They use like a, yeah, sure, that's fine. Go for it, please. Great. 10 out of 10. Happy about that. I'll chunk in for 1 here. If they flip this Rona, then I'm just gonna march it, so I am not too concerned. But I am gonna make them sort of tap the mana for it before I do anything else. They discarded a land, so if they missed a land drop and are doing this for that, then, you know, bull tomatoes on that. But it sounds like they're probably playing a legendary spell here. It's a sneak attack. Okay. Do you have a sneak target this turn? Are you just that good at Magic the Gathering? Okay, chat, they're just that good at Magic the Gathering. How you doing, Cash? Hell yeah, glad to hear it. Big chillin', always a good sign. Let me know when Helldivers stops having kernel level anti-cheat. I am so down to play that game. It looks so good and is so within my like interest wheelhouse. Like that is not me just trying to like dig at it. That is me genuinely saying if that game ever stops having kernel level anti-cheat, I am so in. Well, it's like I also just love squad shooters. Alright. They're keeping mana up instead of activating. Have they used their... They spent their bolt. Are they on shock? I don't think they're on shock. I'll go to 2 here. I'm not scared. Alright, what you got? What you got? Show me, Howdy. What you got? Okay, Arcanist. Alright. Sorry, folks. Want to make sure I don't F up this turn. Because I think this is the most important turn of the game, currently. I'm leaving up a green mana because I'm stopping this Dreadcord Arcanist from exiling a card since it targets. And then I'm only taking 9. So they have to draw another card to kill me here. Alright. They get 2 cards. That's spooky, potentially. But I'm negating the Dreadhorde Arcanist, and then they have to hit me for 2 more, which they could do. They have cards that could do it, absolutely. But they have to hit a sequence of cards versus just a few cards, which makes me think that I can, you know, make this safely. And then they're making a less all-in attack too, so that's a good sign for me. They might not attack at all. Even better. I don't know if that works, Goose, but I'll definitely grab you after this game. I have to get that stuff set up still. But I'm definitely down to jam after this game. Okay, okay. 8. Taking 8. Come on in, Howdy. The water's fine. What's the worry? Oh? Oh? Okay. What you targeting? Not a chance. Alright. So, I take 4. I go to 7. If they have a removal spell, I'm fucked. That's not a removal spell. That's a Dust Animus, though. Which might F me. Alright, let's make them block first. If they only block with one creature, they die. Or no, they don't die. They don't have another creature in yard. They go to 1. Fuck. Didn't think that one through, chat. Because there's no creatures in yard. Damn it. I didn't think that one through. Whoops. Yeah, and they know it. Shit. Alright. Alright. Nope. Queen of Throws. Let's go. Alright. Well, 8, 9, 10, 11. Still not dead. Because they only have 11 damage. So they need to kill me. I could have played the Jewel Thief, eh? No, yeah. Okay, so I could have played the Jewel Thief there, because then I can still hold up Scavenging Ooze, and then I still have a creature in play, if they have like a single target removal spell, or even like a Shieldred's Edict. And then I have the treasure for the Scooz activation. So I can hit whatever they try to Dreadhorde, I can hit this Rona with the... No, I couldn't if I played the Jewel Thief. But the Jewel Thief is able to block either the token or the Dreadhorde. But I think this is still fine. Real thinker. See, this is like... I don't want to say that like discussions that are going to come up around the format after tomorrow. I don't want to talk down on the Reanimator deck too much, because it is a great deck. But I want to speak very plainly about the deck and talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses of the deck, and how I feel that those are currently not actually capitalized on. Because that's something that I feel like comes up a lot when conversations about the deck, especially. There's constantly the feeling that I get from talking to folks about the deck is that folks think that this deck is not answerable. And I think that that is false. Okay. So they pierce me, which means that I'm not going to get to develop another threat this turn. Not great. But I'm going to get 2 threats off the board. They only have a Dreadhorde Arcanist, and I have the ability to activate Restless Prairie and attach Shadow Spear and attack. So they need a good draw this turn, basically. Alright, Perforator Crocodile. That keeps them alive. Cards that kill them. 1. Questing Beast. Well, Mama wants a Questing Beast. That's not a Questing Beast, but it is a flyer. Woo! Alright, that was some magic, to say the least. That game took... That was into... And that was a 40-minute game? Christ. That was some magic. How about that for an effing stream opener, eh? All right, Goose. What's your arena, or do you want to send me a friend request? Oh, perfect. We're already friends. I wasn't sure. All right, let's do this. Oh yeah, that's a game that loosens you up. Good luck, have fun. I couldn't even believe that was an hour. That was like, well, not an hour. That was 40 minutes, but still, like, that was a 40-minute game. And that was insane. Okay. So, reasons to keep this hand. It's great if we draw lands. Other reasons to keep this hand? Bunch of graveyard hate. Graveyard's important. Reasons to keep this hand. We also have the ability to fetch for Lush Portico. Yeah, GG's howdy. That was an insane game. So, not only can we not only is drawing a land alive, drawing any land is live to keep our spells on. And then if we draw more lands after that, it's great. Otherwise, this hand sucks. I think I want to try this hand. But yeah, that was an amazing game, Howdy, honestly. Not only did I get to prove a point about how white mid-range decks can answer Reanimator decks, and green mid-range decks can answer Reanimator decks, but also just, like, some hilarious moments in that game. Alright. Come on. Land. No. Dromoka's command is honestly not that awful in this hand. But I want to make sure that I hit a land on 3 or as close to 3 as possible. So I'm gonna try to prioritize that. Then I'm keeping the Sun Gold Sentinel, even though I did, like... I'm keeping the Sun Gold Sentinel and the Scavenging Ooze sort of protected currently, with the hope that I can catch a card or two, maybe. Attacking with Kellen first. We'll keep that on top. I drew the land, so we're good on that front, but I have this Sarah Paragon I want to play as soon as possible. So I am big chillin'. Also means that I can play Scavenging Ooze and keep up both a Scooz activation and an Arwen activation to keep the Scooz safe, which is always good. So this fourth land is sort of free to keep right now. Arwen's a card that I'm always sort of like back and forth on. Something you'll know about me very quickly if you don't already, I am a big fan of Bredegard Stronghold. And on top of that, I am a big fan of just gaining an F ton of life. And Arwen's real good at that. So that keeps her in the deck even when maybe she could be cut. But also just the fact that she offers so much power on her activated ability, and then also just means that she's a combat trick while also being a threat is huge. Because cards like Blossoming Defense, Royal Treatment, that kind of stuff, they always get in the conversation for this deck, even if they don't get in. And it feels like they should be in, but they just don't have space, basically. So being able to get a card like Arwen in that allows you to have those cards and then also do more is always nice. I could have waited on Sarah Paragon a turn. I thought about it, but I think that I am better off playing her here. If they want to remove her, great. She's out of the way. If not, then I am just going to keep slamming. Blot out. Okay. That was a quick fire off on that. Alright, we've got the Gay Knights. Everything's going to be a-okay. They were in my going live screenshot because it was I just wanted a test hand to sort of feel things out, and it was absurd. SMH, Arwen and the Gay Knights getting wed? More likely than you think. I was telling folks that my plan for the Pride Commander event, where you can have more than one commander even if they don't have, you can have two commanders even if they don't have partner. I was thinking of having two pair up creatures as my lineup. If they -2 here, I'm going to activate Arwen. Now I have a 3/4 Gay Knights, and I drew another Gay Knights. Yeah, I'm still on Tyvar's stand, because Tyvar's stand is also a fireball, which I've found worthwhile enough. But otherwise, agreed. It's been a thing where, yes, you can get away with it, but sort of like, what's the point? Rude. Rude. I can't believe you're doing this during Pride, Goose. It's Pride! You're not allowed! Let's see. What am I doing with my life? So, since they have to double block my gaze if they want to kill them, I'm going to send the gaze at them and then the containment priest at Lolth. If they want to keep Lolth, then they can not kill my gaze, and I feel like that's pretty good for me. I'm a little strapped for lands, which is something I knew could be a problem going into this hand. But I think that I'm starting to get in a position where it's okay. I could be in trouble if they play like a Meat Hook Massacre here and reset the board. Wouldn't be great for me. Wouldn't be awful for me, but still wouldn't be great. But yeah, and thinking like Halana and Elena and something along that line. I'm not exactly sure where I'm gonna go with it yet, but probably Halana and Elena and another pair up. Maybe it's, I don't know. That's kind of the hard part. I don't know who I want to do the pair up with. Maybe it's the big gay kings. Maybe it's supposed to be Halana and Elena and God, I forget what's the name of the big gay kings? Help me out here, chat. They're 4 mana for like a 2/8. Whenever and it's like end step, draw cards and gain life sort of thing. Jokingly, I could also what's it called? Minsk and Boo Timeless Rangers technically fit this restriction that I'm thinking of. Probably not the right call, but it's one that I could technically. Kyrnos and Tiro of Melodus, thank you. Alright, chap. I think I've given my opponent too much time. The hand, we knew, was going to be a little slow. We knew going in that this was a risk, and the risk may not have paid off, at least if they continue having removal. If they're able to continue removing our threats, we're in danger. But we do also have a 4 or 5 flyer, but they also knew it was coming. So, you know. I'm going to hold on to this Prismatic Vista, I think. I could just crack it for a force here, and maybe that's fine. But I think I'd rather save it if I draw like a Tireless Tracker. I'm getting it in play because I'd rather have it in play in case something comes up where I need the mana. Alright, this is a Meat Hook. This has to be. If they're plussing for mana, holy shit. Well, grats on you for playing this card. I wouldn't, but grats on you for playing it. Man, it's going to be a 4 or 5 on their side next turn? That's awful. They also really wanted to keep this treasure for some reason. Not sure about that one. Yeah, that is a lot of Planeswalkers. Definitely a problem, to say the least. Alright. Just remind yourself, chat, whenever you draw a land without cracking a fetch, it doesn't mean that you were supposed to crack the fetch. It just means you're unlucky. The statistical difference between taking it out and not is so minuscule that there's no way it should have... Why are we adding mana here? Oh god. What do you have? If I don't draw anything this turn that, like, turns things around, well, that sucks. That's even worse. So, I'm going to give it a draw. We'll see what I find. If I find something that might carry me in this game, I'll try to keep going. If not, I'm going to concede. Christ. So now they're making mana off of their exile cast if they want. Great. Great. And by great, I mean awful. Little mis-sequencing here, but that's fine. It doesn't really matter. Alright. If we draw a Ranger Captain and a Vios, we could still be in it. If we draw a Tireless Tracker. Not that. Alright, we're gonna concede. They have Invoke Despair in their deck? Wait a second. I saw that. That was an Invoke Despair. That's a little greedy. But yeah, it turns out a lot of Planeswalkers, good way to win the game. I should add more Planeswalkers to my deck. That's clearly the thing I should take from that. So, arguments for this hand. Our mana's perfect. We have Stoneforge Mystic, which gets us a Lion Sash. We have a land that replaces itself, and we have a removal spell. Reasons not to keep this hand. This is 5 lands versus a Thoughtseize deck. Yeah, no, Green White Walkers definitely has some fuel. Like, you know, like there are definitely walkers I could be playing that I'm not just because I wanted to jam other cards. There's good things to play. I have Lion Sash, so I'd be getting Lion Sash off of this. I don't have any other sort of like value targets. There's no Coat in this deck, obviously. There's no Blade Hold Cleaver available to me, so I'd be getting Lion Sash. My other options are obviously Shadow Spear and Lava Spur Boots. So I would have another threat. Faithful Absence would be a removal spell. I'd be able to replace Nurturing Peatland if needed later, or earlier. I'm talking myself into this hand, chat. Alright, you know what? This is a hand I want to test. This is a hand that's for testing purposes. If I get Thoughtseized here, then, you know, the dream was always dead. But yeah, that's my equipment suit right now. There's not any other equipment that I could really be playing. You could argue that I could play the Battle Chair. I think you'd be wrong. If you're gonna play any sort of like big equipment cards in the format right now that are just like there to be put in like a Cauldron, like in the Cauldron Complete style or Batterskull style, I think that your choice is Dragonwing Glider, and even then that one is anemic to say the least. All right, they discarded a land off of that. Things to keep in mind. Propagator Primordium, pretty good draw. If nothing else, it gives me fuel for this Lion Sash. We're probably going to sneak in this Lion Sash on end step, in case they have Reanimator style cards. We didn't see any game 1, which makes me think they probably don't. But depending on what their list looks like, they might have a few chilling in there. I'm so glad this card got new art. This art obviously isn't it, since you would have to, you know, spend a whole extra wild card on getting the new art, which I definitely am not going to say like you have to. But I'm so glad that that card has new art, because It is a little, a little sad having to look at that card as it is currently. And the new Bedevil art, thankfully, is quite good. Alright, if they uptick here, I get to kill the Chandra. If they downtick, then I get to kill the Chandra. All signs point to killing this Chandra. Alright. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to clear this Chandra. That's step 1. And then step 2, I'm going to tuck this Lion Sash on this Kellen. That way, if they want to remove the Lion Sash, they have to first kill the Kellen. Or have a card that specifically targets the artifact, which they might. They could be on a Braid. I mean, they didn't even shock with it. They upticked for mana. They didn't even shock me. It was free real estate. I'm getting Chaos Warped? Excuse me? Chat? Alright, we're gonna keep that one on top. We've got a nurturing Peeland. Why didn't they do that first? Okay, whatever. Alright. Alright. No. Cut the tapes. Alright. Hopefully my opponent also notices that there is an onboard Wandering Emperor that can be put into play. I'm gonna play into it. If they know, and this is a juke, then great, they got me. If they don't, then I'm eating this creature land. Also, what's your favorite Wandering Emperor art? This is my current favorite. I think I fluctuate, honestly, on which one I like most, but I think this one's still my favorite. Nether Reliquary, currently a 3/3. Can become a 4/4 whenever I want, thanks to this Flooded Strand. Also, how you doing, Wally? Hope you're having a good day here. Hope everyone is having a good time so far. It has been a time TM. Alright, that's a March. That's fine. Yeah, OG art also quite good. Definitely respect the OG. I don't have a black source, so there's an argument to getting the Overgrown Tomb there, or sorry, Godless Shrine. But I think at this point I care more about the Portico Surveil trigger. I'm going to use this card to figure out what's going on in their hand. I need to take a look. Figure out what I'm playing around. Or what I should be playing around, I should say. Okay. Well, no longer a Braid. Sure. And that's now going to be a 5-mana Fable. I'm gonna wait on this Knight of the Reliquary. I want to get a Castle Bredegard. I want to get a Bredegard Stronghold first. And also leave myself open for getting a creature land this turn if I want, in case they play a removal spell. Otherwise, I'm going to get a Bredegard Stronghold here and then do some Bredegard beats, as it were. Arena even knows. Oh, how my heart flutters. We drew Sigarda, Host of Herons, which we could just slam this turn. Definitely an option. But, nah. Bredegard beats. Also, gonna go ahead and get the fetch land now for more life. I could go for the creature land now, and maybe that is better. But I think I am going to opt on the side of a fetch land, since I kind of just have whatever plays I want at the moment. Oh yeah, 30 life. How does it feel, chat? Breathe it in. Bredegard beats. You know what? I should probably get a Bredegard beats emote at this point, right? Like, that's one of the ones that I should get, if anything. Like, I already have some great ones. Thanks to Howdy for this one. Alright, they didn't take my giant killer. So I'm going to go ahead and blast this magmatic channeler. That's totally fair, Howdy. I think, so, in a similar vein, that's kind of how I got hooked on the current, what's it called? Pirate Duress. By not being able to play any the other Duresses for long enough, I sort of just got hooked on Pirate Duress. Then also, before I forget, no, I'll do that later. So, we're going to activate this Restless Berry. We are going to tap this Reflection. I know I could leave this Fateful Absence up, and I probably should have, but I'd rather play around them having multiple removal spells instead of just playing around Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Because, yeah, like, if they have a removal spell there, then I still want to put them down life. I don't want to just, like, sort of decimate my attack, as it were. I want to make sure that I am properly challenging the board. Which we do. Alright. Defeat yourself. I respect it. Which also is one of the few ways that you can see that card properly enter exile, by the way. Instead of it just going to the adventure, like, casting from hand zone. Alright. Hand. Issues with hand. No turn 1 play. Benefits of hand. Cards that are good as long as we draw more mana. Cards that answer things. Gaze. And Removal Spell. What's your question about specifically, Howdy? Sorry. Or not Howdy, Wally. I'll get used to this. If we're talking about the gaze, then the gaze. Thinking. What the fuck? No, no, no. No, no, no. Get the fuck out of here, Automod. What do you mean? No, no, no. Get out of here, Automod. What the fuck do you think you're doing? All right. We're gonna have to train the Automod. So bear with me as we train the Automod. Yeah. Yeah, howdy. Welcome to the Bredagard Beats. You will learn why I am so fond of this card. That's a great question, howdy. I wish I knew. But someone decided it should only be 3 mana, and I am so down for that. I know I'm putting my only threat in danger here by playing out the Lion Sash like this, but I think I'm okay doing this. I'm going to give them a card. I could choose not to and not give them a card, but I'm going to... Not my breed! No! 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 Okay, never mind. I shouldn't have given them the hit. My precious baby boy. Anyhow, while I recover from that trauma, we're gonna spend the march on this. By the way, there is a creature land in play, which like there is argument for keeping the march for the creature land, but we have a Fateful Absence still. We have other cards we might want to spend the Fateful Absence on. I would love to draw a land anytime. Or sorry, a non-land, not a land. What's that been? Three lands in a row? Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Alright, this card's cool. Well, who knows? Hopefully, maybe they hit double lands off of me. That would be nice, right? Alright, chat. This is part of my training. This is called managing tilt. I say this jokingly, but if they play 2 threats, okay, this is the second time today that they've stolen my Ornery Tumblelag. If that is a second threat off of that, obviously they'll need the treasure for it, which, you know. Alright, never mind. Never mind. No tilt needed. Gimme that. No, come on. Gimme that. Gimme. Damn it. Why didn't you wait? Cries. Alright, never mind. We're back to tilting. Perfect. No. I'm teasing, to be clear. But yeah. The lesson on managing tilt is making sure that you know, it's okay if I do not win the game. But also, I mean, I know that part, but the part that I actually have to keep in mind is stuff like this, where if they drew 2 very real threats off of this deck and a dragon, and then I hit knock gas, then I feel sad. But that's fine. I'm allowed to feel sad. But you know, gotta make sure I keep a good energy for the stream. Also, banger sleeves that I chose, by the way. I did not remember setting this sleeve. Generous Ent. Feeling pretty good here. Makes a food. I'm going to hold on to this Turn Timber Symbiosis since I am one land, any land, away from playing it. Yeah, you know, right? Such an easy thing. Just, you know, don't let them draw the good cards. And hey, if they don't have a removal spell for this Generous Ent, then I just get to give it the Shadow Spear and go to town. They attacked with this Decadent Dragon, which means that they could have a Bolt here. They have a Shrink. Okay. All 3 games, eh? Sure. Ossification, not a bad draw. They have 2 creature lands to my 1, which isn't great, but you know, not bad. Is that Tyvar's stand? That's Tyvar's stand. Okay. Well, it was gonna kill me a different way. So, you know what? Not complaining. Not too bad. Not too bad. Alright. I need to remember to crack this food before they pass it back to me. They have a 4-mana play. Or a 3-mana play. What? Oh, okay. Sure. This is a funny one. Kaiser von Goose starting the planning around heisting early. Okay, all right. Wait a second. They get 2 of my Luminarch aspirants. They've gotten 2 of my Luminarch aspirants. Sorry, I should say both. Technically, Bristly Bill is kind of a Luminarch aspirant, but you know. That's a technicality and a half. Right on time, eh? Alright. Yeah. We'll get the old 6/6 Ranger Captain of EOS. And then we're gonna grab the Giant Killer. Remember when I said that Turn Timber Symbiosis was better than Boseiju? Wasn't that silly? Yeah, there's a bunch of good options for it. Alright, so the nice part about this pact right here from Kaiser von Goose, it is the fair quote-unquote pact. They have multiple basics. So they could stop early on a card thinking that they have to. A very early Baleful Mastery is not good for me to see, but you know. If they pay 2 for this Baleful Mastery, I'm going to draw the card instead of sacrificing my Ranger Captain. If they pay a full 4, then I'm absolutely sacking the Ranger Captain. Oh, sure. The Fair Pact isn't bad. I'm not trying to pretend it's like bad, to be clear. That's 8. That's not good. It's not that wild. You can be playing close to 14 basics at any time. In a deck like in a 2-color deck. So, I'm not that surprised. So it's not good enough, but it is close. Unfortunately, not good enough. If we had one more mana, then we would have been able to attack with it, and then that gets us up to 5. Still not good enough, but it's closer. But hey, you know, it's what them's the beats. If we had drawn a card that wasn't Lava Stirrer Boots, or like a... If we had drawn a creature there, then we had a chance. But, you know, c'est la vie. Okay, howdy. Or sorry, Wally. My apologies. You can, but you take so much damage from your mana. GG's Goose. Yeah, sure, we can do a rematch, howdy. If you try to play a packed mana base in 2-color, while you're taking so much damage from your mana, that was the core weakness of the blue-black deck in the event. And even then, like, but why? Basically, like, yeah, you could play a 2-color packed mana base, but you're just sort of setting yourself up for failure doing that. You're going to take so much damage from your mana. So you're weakening yourself against aggressive decks. And then you're like, just to have one card that's sometimes good against mid-range decks. And even then, sometimes it's not good enough. Yes, it's a tutor, but it's not a consistent tutor. Well, if we see Rakdos the Muscle, I'll definitely talk about it. As far as, you know, it showing up today, I'm not playing Rakdos right now, so it's not going to really show up. So yeah. In theory, you can still run the pact anyway. It can often still kill with Lelia, which is nice. And then as far as other things go, it does often just, you know, win sometimes. Alright. So, we're playing against Jeskai this time instead of Rakdos Brianna Midrange, so something we have to keep in mind. Also, we need to be careful with how we schedule our threats versus Howdy's threats, because Howdy has better threats. Or, Howdy's going to have more threats and also more answers, just because of how Howdy's deck plays. So, I have to be very careful with Howie Jam cards. For example, this Dust Animus, I could hold on to it for a while, but I think I need to make Howdy answer something, basically. And we'll work from there. This Wingbane Vantasaur is a good way to answer certain threats that could come down out of Howdy. It really just depends. Hey, Lelia, we were just talking about you. I'm gonna exile her now. There is an argument to keep just let Lelia exist and then use the Giant Killer and the Wingbane Vantasaur as answers to it, which is a real thing that we could do. But I think that I would rather sort of force the issue. Force them to at least respect the potential. Yeah. Do I play like I'm keeping this Vantasaur? I'm going to play like I'm keeping this Vantasaur because I can also just slam the Giant Killer and still punch the Marauder. So if they spend their turn killing this Vantasaur, that's good for me, potentially. depending on how they kill it, obviously. Path is always awkward, to say the least. It's not exactly a card that I'm, like, excited about. It's one of the best removal spells in the format, and that's not going to change. But I'm not exactly sitting here jonesing to play it, right? Like, it's a card that's always going to have its awkward moments. And that's, you know, again, that's not going to change. So, yeah, it's always going to be fine. And that's kind of all it needs to be, right? Does anyone need it to be more than fine, TM? Like, it's gonna be a removal spell. If they have a shock here, then let them have it. If they don't, then I start getting in, which is good for me. Holy shit. Okay, sure. Wandering Emperor? Great. That's not good for me. You could argue that the attack was risky. Maybe you're right, but at the same time, if I don't start attacking, when will I start attacking? So, not again. Stop having multiple planeswalkers. Opponents. This is a good draw. I think I have to grab this. Then I'm grabbing this, obviously. I'm not going to give them the untapped mana, just to make them have to play without the untapped mana, because if I give it to them, then they have it for free, which isn't good. They don't know about this giant killer in hand, so depending on their play, I can potentially try to just take 4 off of this Warkite Marauder. That's the kind of play that makes me more interested in it. And then use this giant killer more aggressively. If they don't find a removal spell, or if they don't find removal or a counter spell, I have the option to potentially draw a land and then be able to Dust Animus. Okay, that's not good. Alright, I didn't draw an untapped land. I'm probably dead. Thinking, what can I do? What can I do? It's awkward, but I think this is how it starts. Wish I drew the land. Because if I had drawn the land, things would be a lot better. Since I didn't, it's a lot worse. Especially because I cannot answer this Geist. If they when they decide to pass to combat, I'm going to hit this Warkite Marauder. That's not good. Believe it or not, chat, still have outs. I do need to draw them immediately, and Howdy needs to not have certain cards. But I still have outs. That's a card that makes me have less outs. And that was the land. Alright. Things to consider about that game? I probably didn't need to actually develop the Dust Animus that turn. I could have plotted it. I didn't consider that until it was too late. But I was probably supposed to just wait on it. Like, I was probably supposed to just plot it and wait. It's more risky, obviously, But if I know that Howdy is playing around the fact that I have to play specific cards to live, I could potentially do that to try and play around the most things, because I know that my removal in hand can keep me alive. Basically, no matter what Howdy does. Stingerback Terror is a good card. It's probably more of a mid-range card than it's an aggro card, but it is a good card. Being 3 mana and then probably 5/5 or bigger is always going to be points for it. And then, you know, all the other things about the card, right? There's not really a card that needs to get too much deep insight, I think. You kind of just play it because it's going to be a massive beater. If your deck can consistently play it as a 4/4 or a 5/5, I think that's enough. Alright. Their hand does not currently cast blue spells. Here's a fun rules question that you can't answer. Is Molten Impact's Boon a red source of damage or a colorless source of damage? Chew on that one for a little bit, chat. It'll be interesting to see what Howdy does here. Part of me thinks that Howdy has white removal spells in hand currently. I'm 90% sure you're wrong, Howdy. Alright, I'm going to start killing them. They can arm scavenger as much as they want. Even if they get the pick or something, I am just gonna keep slamming with this Wingbane Vantasaur. Hello there, Inti. This giant killer might catch this Inti. Isn't that cool? Depending on if they spread the love or not. So. Yes. Yes. Get out of here, Inti. I'm not waiting until they reveal their card because I want to play around the most sort of like corner interactions. I doubt there is a situation in which it doesn't work out if I let them get the card first, but I don't want to find out. You know? It's not worth finding out. Well, so here's the thing. You say that, Howdy, but then I double block the Inti. Okay, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Plus 6, 10. Plus 3. I can put them to 1. I'll put them to 1. I'll put them to 1 and hold up path. I mean, hey, at least they got to go out in style. But yeah, no. Targeting the Inti there's a lot of sense in it. It's not a play that doesn't make any sense. It's a play that, there's a lot to consider there, right? Is the Inti worth being double blocked? And you could argue it, but at the same time, I still get to keep the novice inspector versus, man, if this hand had a second land. Oh no. Oh no. Well, chat, here we are. Here we are, chat. Well, we drew the land anyway, so, F that stupid monkey. So, chat, remember what I mentioned earlier about managing tilt? Here's the practical application of that. Winnable, by the way. They definitely don't have any interaction in hand because they kept a 7. So there's definitely no chance that there's any removal in their hand or any burn or anything. And these blocks are very safe. I just want to stress how extremely safe these blocks are. And how nothing is going to go wrong. Howdy. Them's the break sometimes with Magic, by the way, in case you're curious. It's not the end of the world, I honestly don't care. It's fine. It sucks, but it's fine. Yeah, safest blocks in the universe. Never once could there have been an issue with those blocks. Alright, I need to run back on that. That was not a game 3. I need to run back on this. I cannot. And I cannot have that game end that way. So I need a little bit of redemption on this. Those other 2 games were great though, and honestly, like that game 3 was not happening for multiple reasons, but it happens. This hand curves pretty well. We've got this on 2, we get this on 3, or this on 3, and then we have this. I kind of like this hand. It doesn't have removal, which is, a bit of an issue. I'll try this hand out. You know, we've got good mana. We've got this, which is like always a good card to see. And realistically, even without a turn 1 threat, we have cards that curve well. So, you know, I like it. Again, it doesn't interact, which is always a rough part about keeping hands with a mid-range deck, especially. Because you want your hands to interact, in theory. But in this matchup, it can always... depending on the game, it can be like 2 ships passing in the night. Because while Howdy does have interaction, it can sometimes just be a game of who has the better threat. So we might have one of those games depending on how our boards develop. A card like Pippin is a bit of an issue. I think I'm playing the Jewel Thief here. I could play the Ranger Captain here because Ranger Captain gives me the ability to sort of push through a removal spell if I do need to remove the Pippin, which is nice. But I think my plan is, if they develop another creature, I'm going to Brutal Cathar. Otherwise, I'm going to Wingbane Vantasaur and sort of set up to kill the Pippin. I'll work from there. I might also just play this Ranger Captain of Eos now. Like, play Fetch, and then go Ranger Captain. Trying to think of what flash threats they could have in their deck. Howdy could be on Tishana's Tidebinder. That would be the scariest one right now. But they probably would have countered the trigger. Hard to say. I'm going to get this one for later. I could have gotten one of the inspectors to card draw. But I think that getting Giant Killer sets me up best for later. Ooh, they had a Malcolm. They wanted to be careful about the Malcolm. They're playing around me having like a swords or something. Interesting. See, I like that. I'm in their head already. Oh yeah, I'll take the land. Great. It also means, if needed, now I have 2 basics, so any of my fetches can get Canopy Vista as an untapped source, which is nice. It also means that any of Howdy's soft counters are less good. So if they tap out here, or even tap low here, ooh, okay, getting aggressive. Interesting. They haven't played their land yet. So they're getting aggressive and know that they don't care. They either don't care about their land drop or already have their land drop. Alright, discarding a Charter Course. They don't have their land drop. Okay. Yeah, we are blasting this Pippin. I don't care about any of the cards that have black mana in them right now. I also have a treasure if needed, so that card could be good, but I don't think I need it. I do find it interesting that Howdy did not make the play that was going to dig them closer to a land. They took the aggro play. That's what's most interesting about this right now, and I'm trying to figure out what card that could mean. Because hopefully that means that Howdy has something. As far as, like, you know, me trying to evaluate this game and think about the cards, I hope that Howdy has something. Because that would explain the patterns that Howdy is showing. Especially if they're discarding something like Charter Course, that means that they should hopefully have something good here. So I'm interested to see how Howdy plays into the current board situation. If they +2/+0 on Malcolm and attack, Am I blocking? I had to think about this for a moment. Because it means that they have a shock. What if they have, like, Bolt Helix? I'll make them have it. If you have Bolt Helix here, Howdy, like, GG. You deserve it. But I think I need to keep my clock here, because if I don't keep my clock, then I am just, you know, asking for failure, basically. I'm going to try to clear the Royal Scions and then also, you know, threaten their life total. And then I'm going to jam this Knight of Autumn to gain 4 life. Be healing self. Well, not healing self. You know what I mean. Four life is so many life. Hey Justin, how you doing? Yeah, I feel that one. It's been a long one, eh? Also, we're gonna go ahead and do that for you. Don't take that as a call to action, but you know, you have that one. I used their government name because I know Justin as Justin, and if Justin wants me to call them J Random Hacker instead, I can. But we've kind of gotten to the point that'd be a little weird. Yeah, that too. I have literally lived on Justin's grounds. We broke sushi together. I could definitely still be dead here, by the way, to many things. I do have to be careful here. There are a lot of cards that can just kill me. Or even, like, combinations of cards, right? No, Wally. I will not be considerate to you. We need to set some ground rules. We will... One second, sorry. I am wanting to get something set up before I forget. Alright, my turn. You're welcome, Howdy. Or sorry, fuck. You're welcome, Molly. I'm glad. I'm glad that I could massacre you there. So, funnily enough, the reason I'm doing it is because, at least on the Twitch screen that I'm using for reading chat, you two are the same color name. The reason I normally do it in the Discord is because you two used to, this is less true now, but used to, you both had you two had profile pictures that were similarly colored enough that it threw me off. Okay, Snapcaster, getting back this Lightning Helix. I'm going to 2. I could be dead any second. Yeah, that part's rough right now because a bunch of folks are still using the clown thing. So a lot of folks look the same if they have the clown. But, you know, that's less of an issue for me personally. I haven't had that issue as much. Grats on Howdy though, making sure to play to their outs. It can be hard in situations like this to like not, but especially in a blue deck, play to your outs. You have a lot of cards that can just kill. Ah yes, all you clowns. That is also a correct way to read the statement. Alright. That's not good. Any of those 3 cards could be Bolt, and I'm dead. If you got the Bolt, I'm dead. Howdy. Okay. Okay. That's not it. Not yet. Oh shit, they got a bounce spell too. Hey. Yeah. Alright. Alright. Hey, X-Dog. Hope you're doing well. I am currently doing my, you know, as it says, it actually doesn't say it in the stream title. As I said in my going live messages, this is my first time back to streaming in a while, at least solo. I did a test stream not too long ago just to like test the waters, see how I could do. But this is my first time really streaming solo in a while. So I'm trying to make sure that I can sort of keep the energy throughout. Currently, I think I'm doing an alright job. We're about 2 hours in. And my throat's only starting to feel a little dry, so we take those. Might step away in a moment here to get some water, but otherwise, things are going alright. How about yourself? Have a good day, Justin. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Well, if you are familiar with Gladiator, then great. Hope you have some fun with it. If not, I'm more than happy to talk about the format some. If you need introduction on what's going on here. Otherwise, you know, we're currently jamming a green-white midrange versus Jeskai Tempo. This is going to be a fun matchup to see how it plays out. We already did one best of 3, and outside of a little bit of a rough hand in game 3 on my end, it was a pretty good jam. Nice to meet you, Ryan. Hope you're having a... Glad to hear everything's going well. Alright. Well, we wanted to hit the 3rd land. We haven't yet, which is not great. If we do, even better. But thankfully we had a removal spell for that NT. That's always good. Alright. Alright, alright. Always cool to meet someone that runs an LGS. Those are the greatest, you know, LGSs are always a sort of cool environment to be in. As someone who doesn't get to do it a lot, but enjoys the concept. Alright, once we draw our 3rd land, this is going to be great. But thankfully, Howdy also hasn't played a threat, so we do have that going for us. Alright, we're going to start with this one. Make Howdy now expend the answers in hand. I'm probably going to schedule this Tireless Tracker last. They're going to look at my top card. Depending on what they do, we'll tailor whether or not I think there's a land on top of my deck. I no longer think there's a land on top of my deck. Or who knows, maybe there is. They did shock that, so maybe there is. There's... okay. Since they know about this threat, I'm going to play this threat. If they want to remove it, great. If not, also great. I'm going to hit this Helix. You know, for how strapped we are on mana currently, still very winnable. If they tap low here, I can just escalate, or no, sorry, I don't have double green, never mind. I was going to say I can just turn this into a questing beast and call it a day, choo-choo. But no, not currently an option. I think I'm going to go for the Tireless Tracker. Okay. Let's see. Since they currently have the 4 creature types, I'm going to hit the one, or sorry, the 4 card types. I'm going to hit the one that stops that from being on. That way I can hopefully try to keep up with it. I might not be able to. That's not good. Yeah. I'm gonna make them spend a card on this. If I have a chance in this game, it is that Pippin not attacking, because this Tireless Tracker is in play. If I draw another green source, I'm in a pretty good spot, though. I've got Wingbane, obviously. I have this Colossal Rattleworm as well. And then this Primal Might is also more on the line if I hit the land in any reasonable time frame. I'm taking 6, potentially 7 this turn. Okay. Or 8, sorry. Would have been 8. Alright. Didn't draw the land. I think this is the play. We're gonna first Little Pig, and then either this finds a land. That's great. If it doesn't, then we're gonna pitch it. And we're gonna dig again. Also, potentially good enough. I'm not gonna risk it. Now this first Little Pig can block this Pippin. If they have a removal spell, I was dead no matter what. Yeah. Alright. That was some good games. Despite, you know, potentially a risky 7 there. I think that 7 was worth keeping, even with how it turned out. But, you know, you can always look at it later and say that was a risky or non-risky hand. Obviously, if anyone in chat wants to jam, I'm more than happy to jam some Gladiator with y'all. There's a chance I was supposed to put that Arwen out sooner. Hey Greenie, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Howdy, letting me know that they had all these, as it were. Oh, near. Oh dear. My apologies. I thought I checked it. Alright, we got a game. Oh wow, good job me. As Ev Alessandra, my apologies. That's what I get for not copying and pasting. Alright, Arena. I'm gonna... Arena. How perfect of a program you are at times. So, fun fact. Your max friends limit is 200. That also counts friends in your... that also counts pending friend requests. So... because we were at the 200 limit counting the pending friend requests, it did not work. Alright, this hand doesn't have white mana, which means it's probably a mulligan. We do have a Propagator Primordium on 2, which is potentially just good enough on its own. But I'd rather, you know, keep a hand that does things for sure. This hand, for example, does things for sure. Even if it is 2 tap lands, I think this is fine. Wesh Portigo gives us a Surveil on it as well, so we could find a better land if needed. I think I'm going to keep this one. Yeah, exactly. Removing people from the deck list is so rough. Boo! Boo this monkey. Boo! Yeah, I'm probably gonna sit down, like, and just take a Saturday or something and just work through all of my friends list, removing all the stragglers. And just, you know, just so I can be done with it, basically. Because it is definitely not fun. This could be risky, depending on the types of cards that they're playing. I don't know what their deck is currently, other than Jund, question mark? They could be seeing this as a chance for just like a clean, like just, you know, redevelop the Slimefoot and Squee, call it a day. Because, you know, it makes bodies. But I have this Give Reverence, so it is relatively safe. Gonna play around a Molten Impact. I am now going to develop 2 Luminarch Aspirants. I don't think I've posted it in the server anywhere. It is currently linked on the plugin that's on the stream, so you can hover over the stream and it'll show it, but I also just posted it in chat there for you. I'd like to go to combat and trigger both of my Luminarch aspirants. I'd like another 4/4. Great, thank you. They do get to gain life off of some of the creatures in my yard, which isn't great, but starting this next turn, it will be fine. Yeah, no, it's nice to have that little Twitch plug in there. You can hover over the stream and it should be on like the right, I think. If you click on it, it shows you what lists are sort of tied to the stream currently, and I can update that as well. So if I switch lists, I can update that list to have the right thing, and then obviously I just linked in chat for you as well. Inquisition of Kozilek. Sucks to see. Cankerbloom was going to be a nice threat to have as well. It was going to make things interesting, to say the least. But this Ornery Tumblelag is going to try to run away with the game if we are allowed to. I mean, hey, if you want to chat about the list, there's a bunch of cards that can be added to the list that are not in there, that are just like good cards to play, and are only not in there because, you know, I decided I wasn't going to play it this time. And especially in the commons and uncommons category. Hey, by the way, this Tumblelag is kind of messed up. How about a 6/6, eh? How does that feel? Pretty good? It's pretty good. I mean, hey, even if it doesn't, that's not the end of the world, boss. If it does, I'm more than happy to help you along the path, but it's quite alright. You know, this game's not going to be for everyone. That's cool. But yeah, there's a bunch of commons and uncommons that aren't in the deck currently that if they were in the deck over some of the rares that you don't have, like, the list is still going to be good if you're playing, what's it called? There's a 4-mana 4/4 uncommon that has Trample and Haste or something, I think. I'd have to look at Magic cards again to remember which ones are existing. The Black Splash is really neat. You don't need it, obviously. It's kind of just here because it's free. But at the same time, it's not like a thing that you have to play. You can also play more of a Black Splash if you want. I'm currently in the camp that you don't need to. But it's definitely a thing that you could play more of if you want. Anyhow, look at all of this power. Absolutely beautiful. I also have this Dust Animus I could play whenever. I might take next turn and plot it, depending on what we draw. Lets me, you know, lets me cook a little more. Lets me set up some other cards. Ooh, are we Jund Reanimator? Interesting. Yeah, I'd recommend not reanimating the old Ragavan. A, because there's a scavenging ooze in play. B, there's a scavenging ooze in play. And C, there's a scavenging ooze in play. You know. Anyhow, let's just rock and roll into combat. And, you know, we're gonna do some fun things. Like, say, if you don't block this Trostani, you die. Oh, great. They want to die. Well, guess what? 12-12 double strike. Absolutely beautiful. God, I love this deck. But yeah, the Black Splash in the deck currently is just for Mosswood Dread Knight, Deathrite Shaman, and Nantuko Splicer. I have also played Phyrexian Missionary, which is another budget include in the deck as well. I've also played Orcish Bowmasters. Yeah, absolutely. I've played more of a Black Splash in other iterations of the build, but I don't think it's necessary right now, and I like not taking as much damage off my lands. So I cut it back a bit and just let the sort of like 3 cards that have black involved with them. Great. It feels good. It does the thing I want it to, and it doesn't. It like stays out of the way, so it doesn't get too crowded, which is nice. But I also played cards like Obsidat before when I wanted a sort of like over-the-top card. But again, stuff like Phyrexian Missionary also falls in that category. You can play Orcish Bowmasters in the deck. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's great. You can play Shieldred in the deck. Shieldred's a card that is quite good, so you can get away with it. And then obviously there's like Reanimate and stuff at the moment too, so you can always argue for those kind of cards to show up. They don't need to, though. Oh dear. Do they not have a land drop? They don't. Okay. Interesting. I won't be able to punish them for that, but that is wild. Sure, which 3 do you want? You want incremental value or Thalia? I'm going to play the Lush Portico first, because if I see a land on top, I don't want to keep the land, and I want to make sure that I can eat it so that they don't get it with their Deathrite Shaman. I don't care if they make me lose life. But also this Thalia could potentially end the game on its own, so I'm cool with that. They might have a cut down here. If they kept this kind of hand, I have to imagine they might have a removal spell here for the Thalia. Yeah. But hey, this Armored Scrap Gorger is gonna cook up pretty soon. And even just with the cards I have, I think I'm in a fine spot. Scavenger Grounds is a card that's in here because of the fact that the Rattleworm exists. If the Rattleworm didn't exist, I don't think I'd be on Scavenger Grounds. Obviously, it's better right now because of the fact that Reanimators is present enough in the format, but it's not exactly a card that you have to be on either. Alright, that's fine. Next turn, my Armored Scrap Gorger is going to start attacking as a 3/3, so this is okay. Oh, they finally have another land. That's spooky. While their hand was very greedy, my hand has not produced more threats to sort of punish that. So this could turn out poor, especially depending on the cards they draw. Well, that was a good draw. Not gonna complain. Not gonna complain. I'm pretty happy about it. Alright, they're adding red with Incubation Druid. What are they doing? Okay. Bolting. So they have double removal? Interesting. Sure, okay, they have a Bowmasters. Okay. Opponent just kept like the wildest hand. I'm rooting for them that it's working, but like, what the fuck? Thank you, Sofang. Hope you're doing well. It's been a little while. I don't use that name anymore, but I do appreciate the I do appreciate the vote of confidence. It is L now, but either way is fine. Yeah, sure is. I'm glad to hear it, man. Hell yeah. Glad to hear it. Getting stuff done, always important. Alright, I do need a good draw in soon. I'm not in great straits, to say the least. But if I draw the right cards, could be in a much better place. Fortunately, Coder doesn't play well into their Deathrite Shaman. Especially because they can kind of just do what they want with this Scavenging Ooze. I can't really stop them. I can use this Armored Scrap Gorger to try to fight one counter, but they have access to 3 separate green sources. And if I try to fight any of them, it just gets worse for me, so that part's not good right now. That part's a bit better. I think I'm gonna have to take the kill on the Flesh Gorger here. I'm gonna let them arrange blockers and then I'll decide what I'm doing. They have a chance to get another counter on a creature here because Scavenging Grounds is going to... Jet Collector's getting in. Otherwise... I was gonna try Pearl Collector, and then obviously the Flyer. Okay, Eldritch Evolution. Yeah, the new Aspirant, whatever the Flyer, yeah, that card. I was thinking about that card, so... could see that card getting in. Not exactly sure on it. Here's my chance to stabilize. I need to look at the... Yeah. This dino is so fun. I love this dino so much. They can't make another whatever. They can get a creature back. I don't care about that. Whatever creature they want to get back is fine. I don't even care if they get back the Fauna Shaman. If they want to get back the Fauna Shaman with this, I'm happy about that. So, I'm going to attack here. This is risky as heck, but I'm going to attack here. They could block, they could do a bunch of things here, but currently I'm in a situation where I'm kind of forced to pressure them somehow, and that's my first step to being able to do so. Ooh, and they didn't activate DRS. That's huge. What are these draws? Alright. Holy moly. Alright. If I have one saving grace, it's the fact that my opponent is not activating their Deathrite Shaman. Like, my honest one saving grace is that they have not been using the cards that they have available to them. Because I wouldn't be dead right now. Oh, I wouldn't already be dead, but I would be pretty close to dead. Stronghold's gonna buy us more time, which is great. Depending on the threats they play or how they play out their hand, I do have some other outs. Questing Beast, rough one to see. But we do have the ability to just shut it down. We're gonna path here because we have to for this Wingbeam Vantasaur to be able to get in. And now it's gonna start hitting things that are a little bit more important, and hopefully we can actually start, you know, actually pressuring them. They're at 23 right now, so they're sort of free reign to do whatever they want. What do you have? Did you draw a removal spell? Awful. Absolutely awful. Well, you know, that's how it is with Jund, right? They always have the nuts. I haven't seen this Booming Marsh art yet. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm dead. Didn't draw the right cards for a long enough time. Alright, game three. Game three. This is our game. They're not going to have the absolute nuts. Since they have cards like Victimize, I'm going to keep the Stoneforge. I could keep the Sun Gold Sentinel. It is an argument. There is an argument for keeping Sun Gold, but I think I prefer Stoneforge getting... Do I? Sorry. Let me think about this. I think I'm doing this. I think this is better. I was about to talk about how I think I want to have Stoneforge for Lion Sash. I would have to ask Justin. I'll be honest with you. Howdy. I would have to ask Justin when he's planning on posting it. I know he said that he wanted to proofread my writing of the announcement. Let's see. Oh, wait. Looks like the plan is around 8 a.m. PST. Or 8 a.m. Did I say a.m.? I meant a.m. So 11 a.m. EST, 8 a.m. PST is when it's going to go live. Good old turn 2 Bloated Contaminator, pretty good on the play. If you're gonna have a card on the play, this is the one that you want to see, generally. I should have used the Flooded Strand first, by the way, chat. Fun little thing of a misplay I did there. Just because of how my mana is, I knew I had a mono white land, so I probably wanted Flooded Strand to get that Temple Garden. So small little punt on my end, something to keep in mind when playing out these draws. It'll probably end up being fine, but the fact that I don't have another untapped source to get here is a little rough. But I think I'm gonna play this on Gold Sentinel, hit that Shieldred, just so I don't have to worry about it. And then use this Flooded Strand to get the Lush Portico. That way I can be a little bit more protective of this Ranger Captain. If they hit the Sun Gold Sentinel, that's fine. I'm probably getting Deathrite Shaman with this Ranger Captain anyway. Although I might want to get a Inspector. I'm currently down a lot of cards and not really in a position to really get back from that if they don't draw the right cards. So I might edge on drawing more cards. Yeah, I think I've talked myself into it. I'm gonna get the Inspector here. That way I can draw another card, put myself up some more cards. Hopefully means that I can be less behind if they have wraths or removal or anything like that. They have reanimate here. It sucks either way. But at least it's not getting Shieldred. So I've got that going for me. Tarmogoyf, not too bad. Currently a 3-4, pretty big. There's another card I was considering to get off of the Ranger Captain, so, you know, freebie. I think I'm going to jam this Knight of Autumn as a 4-3, just gives me some more options. I'm going to hold on to this Boseiju. It's an untapped land, so I'm not actually pressured from not, like, I'm not put in a position where I can't cast spells if I need to. So if I draw a card that warrants me playing the Boseiju, I will. If not, then I will keep it so I can cash it in later against something else that's more important. Otherwise, I think this board state is going to get a lot more interesting as we go on, depending on what cards MTG has access to. They have 4 cards left, so there's plenty of stuff that could be going on in it That's a rough card to see. Even if they're not like combo oriented, just being able to tutor out more specific threats as things go on is always going to be a bit of a struggle. But I am going to start racing here. I could try to hold back, but I'm more than happy with a Tarmogoyf trade here. So, since it opens up my Ranger Captain and obviously this Propagator Primordium. And then I'm just going to keep developing my hand for now. They're strained on mana, so the kinds of cards I would be worried about up front are not present. I wasn't sure how I felt about the MKM Surveil lands at first, and then I realized that you should just be playing all of them, basically. Funnily enough, it actually took me a while to craft the Lush Portico just because I didn't open it and I wasn't playing green-white for a while. But yeah, you should just be playing your surveillance. They are so good to have access to and just so worthwhile at every sort of instance. Just being able to surveil off of a fetch is huge. Being able to get effectively card advantage off of a land. It's just unreal to talk about. Alright, we're Fiend Artisaning for 2. I'll be curious to see what this gets. It might be getting a Scavenging Ooze, since there's a lot of fuel. They're getting a Kroxa. They wanna hit this card in hand. Okay. Kroxa, also a reasonable hit. It can be regrown out of the yard. Let me do some math. 1, 4, 5, 8, 9, plus 5. Yeah, I'll put you to. I'll put you to 2. I'm doing this because most of the threats that they could play are going to be black. And then my Propagator Primordium gets through. Because I have the Giver of Runes. So they need to have a specific set of cards. They need to have drawn an instant that kills Propagator Primordium. Because otherwise they would have cast in response to the Ranger Captain. And if they tap out for the Kroxa here, I win. So, I put him to 2, and then we're going to give this Pro Black. I also drew another card that worked in Tyvar's stand. But yeah, simple as that. Alright, I know I'm definitely pushing it by doing this, but we're going to try to get one more game in. Alright, looks like we're getting the rematch with KP. Just because it is so close to the time that I want to end things off, I'm not gonna say no to a rematch. So, just to make sure I'm not sitting here too much longer. Let's see how this match goes. Alright, we got some dorks, we got a ranger class. Great, let's keep it. Yeah, it's definitely funny how low the general magic community was on the surveillance for them to sort of just be so ubiquitous now. To the point where everyone's sort of just like, yeah, why wouldn't you run a surveillance? Obviously. Get the surveillance in. When everyone was sort of just like, not that high to begin with. But it's good to see that folks are definitely up on them now, because they are definitely a strong land to have access to say the least. Alright, they might be on Jund. Like, it's definitely still possible that... Oh, wait, no, that's Rafine's tower. We're not on Jund anymore. But yeah, this is the kind of hand that makes you oh, God, I gotta keep it. This is the kind of hand that makes you into a Selesnya mid-range pilot, to say the least. So beautiful. Good ol' turn 3 questing beast. Gotta love it. That's absolutely beautiful. Rafine's Scheming Seer is definitely something we need to keep in mind. I don't know why they attacked, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to attack with the wolf as well, give it a counter. Just so that it's better set up for the next turn. But to say we are cruising is understatement. If they remove the questing beast, we can just grow another threat. If they don't remove the questing beast, then they die. You know, all that fun stuff. God, I love Magic sometimes. I know it's funny to gush about a hand like this, but man. I'm gonna do this as well, because this means that I'm presenting 7 on the face. And then depending on how they block, I can punish their plays depending on what they have. And yeah, that's fine. Yag. Alright, we're going to put a counter on the wolf. And then we're going to have Elvish Mystic fight Urtai. Might seem a little funky to have both of those creatures die, but this is going to clear both of their creatures and then leave our wolf healthy, versus trading away our wolf to kill both of their creatures and leaving me with 2 1/1s. Especially since I know I have the Tumblewag. This gives me a way to present, especially with that shock. I think I'm able to present 2 lethal threats on board. Maybe just 1. 2, because I can activate Hashep Oasis on the Tumblewag, and that's 5. And then I can actually present a 7 as well with the wolf. So depending on what they play here, I either put the Shadow Spear on the wolf if it looks like that's going to be the most likely to kill. Otherwise, I can grow both of my threats and then swing with 2 5 power threats. And if this all fails, then I can just put Ranger class up to the next level. Set myself up even better. Alright, we got the land, which means that we do this. And then we do this. And then we do this. And we put them to 1. God, I love this deck. There's something so beautiful about this deck. Sometimes just in its simplicity, but also just in the types of plays that it allows. Oh, it feels so beautiful. Alright, howdy. So, all those words were great, but just imagine the days when you would Braid a Guard Stronghold onto a questing beast and then also hit a planeswalker, where you are gaining 10 life that turn off of that play. If they have a planeswalker that you're hitting with the trigger. So you're doing a 15-point life swing. I hope you all can hear the smile in my voice, because this is just beautiful. And then Shadow Spirit just allows you to do that more. It's so good. God, I love this deck. And it's a deck that I think people should be playing more, you know? It's like, I can say it, right? And I'll say it during tournament streams too, but it's a deck that sparks joy for me in a way that not many other decks do. And it's also a deck that constantly proves itself, right? Like, even just in watching stuff like Ultriella play. When Ultriella runs like even medium hot, that was on, like, mono green is on fire when it gets to do that. And then even just going from there, like all the other ways people play Magic currently, green-white answers at least somewhat. It's definitely a mid-range deck in how it like operates. Basically, it's never gonna be more than probably 50-20 or so. But you know, that's, or sorry, 50, like 55-45. But that's fine. Great. I'm playing more reserved right now. I should have played the Sun Petal Grove. For some reason, I played the Plains. I'll be honest, I don't know why. But yeah, talking about the splash, there's also an argument that you could do a red splash in this deck in a similar sort of axis. It would accomplish different things, but it would, you know, you can make a similar deck that way. Yeah, I think that's a very reasonable assessment, Howdy. And the other two are green, black, and red, green. Clearly, yes. No. Not quite. Pippin, that's a good draw on their half. However, I'm going to play a 0-mana 4/5. I'm going to keep up a Ganjo. I probably could have played the Mirrex there. My mana is pretty good. I don't think I need to depend on a Mirrex for anything. I do have to worry about the fact that Pippin can just keep on giving Rafine pro creatures. I am continuing to draw lands. So, I'm going to have to be careful here. Deathrite Shaman's a good draw to see there as well. Gives me more options for how I can answer the current board state. Because I can just start drain. I think there's some instants I can start draining with. Maybe not. Maybe it's just land. No, it's just land and creature. So we'll have to work on that into things. But next turn, I'm going to be able to start just Mirroxing as well. Ooh, main phase, Virtue of Loyalty. Interesting. I guess they don't want this Brutal Cathar to flip. They're worried that if I control the Brutal Cathar flipping, things could get out of hand. Speaking of the Brutal Cathar flipping and me controlling it, let's do that, hey? Especially because I can just hit this Virtue of Loyalty if needed. Also, I have a Dromoka's command, so I'm going to be able to blow up this Pippin, which is cool. Unless they find a counterspell of sorts. And then when this Moonrage Brute flips over, it's going to clear the Rafine as well, depending on how they develop. So I've got a lot of good going for me here this game. Obviously, I'm a bit land heavy, you could say. So depending on how my hand develops, there could be some issues, but hopefully this Courser of Crufix will keep things sort of flowing more smoothly. Of course, as soon as I play the Dromoka's command, it's when I draw all of my it's when all the non-lands are on top, clearly. Of course. I'm also gonna hit this Knight instead of this Rafine off of the Moonrage Brute flip. There's an argument for trying to do other things, but I think that... Ooh, okay. Sure. That's fine by me. I'm gonna keep this Boseiju up, by the way. I'm still gonna grab this Pippin. I would like your Pippin, please. If you'd like to then spend removal again, that's on you. But yeah, I don't really care about this Rafine right now. If they want to try to race me that way, that's not gonna work. Ooh. That's an annoying one to see. I have to be careful about that one. Alright. I think Tidebinder doesn't get enough respect. I don't think it's like a... I don't think it's an end-all be-all of a card. I don't think it gets enough respect because it's sort of just a flicker. But it is quite good. I think it's better than folks give it credit. Especially certain vocal folks in our format. I think it's a card that folks will look at and say, well, why would I play this? And the realistic answer is that you can kind of just slam it. That's all you need it to do. Bristly Bill, not a bad card to see. I think I'm going to send this attack at Tasha. If they want to double block my Dust Animus, I'm okay with that. Sure. That's okay. I was not going to draw another card off of this Orcish while this Orcish Bowmasters was in play anyway. I do have to be careful with this Tasha, because this Tasha can just ult. I also may have made this play thinking that I had a Ganjo in my hand, I'll be honest. This Bristly Bill is a good way for us to work through this Tasha as well. Ooh, that's not good. So if they, for whatever reason, if they decide not to ult there, which, you know, I think they maybe should have. Then we get to start cooking off, as it were. So now we sort of just have to play this very careful song and dance around this Shieldred and around this Tasha. The current plan is going to be to outpace this Shieldred, which honestly is online currently. A Tasha ultimate would suck, but depending on what they do with it, could still be fine. That was not some good hits for us. That was some god-awful hits for us. Oh my god. Please hit Bristly Bill instead. Yes. That's so good for me. Holy shit. They're not hitting Dust Animus? I'm so hyped. Oh my god, great. I am putting them a mana closer to the black virtue, which could be its own problem, but I think that letting them have the white virtue is going to cause more of a problem for me than not, especially if they're milling a land there. I think I'm okay with it. Okay, that's an answer to Shieldred. Let's go ahead and hit this Tasha while we can. Get it out of here. You're probably right, Howdy. I'm going to let this Moonrage Brute flip. I'm going to give them another Shieldred gain trigger because I don't care. And then I'm going to sort of just try to, like, hold out this game from here. I've got this Sword Sapashers on top that I'm going to use to hit this Shieldred. I no longer have to worry about my Moonrage Brute, which is nice. Depending on what they cast, I could be in trouble in a few ways. That's a good one. Yeah, I'm okay with that. You can gain 6 life. That's not an issue. That's maybe an issue. I haven't read this card, I'll be honest with you. People keep telling me this bat is good, and I don't know how to feel about it. But they're flipping my Moonrage Brute for me, so I can't complain. The graveyards aren't looking too bad for Virtue. There's a Containment Priest, and there wasn't anything. There was like a Brazen Borrower for the other one, I think. So this Moonrage Brute is going to flip. I'm going to hit this. I'll hit the Shieldred. That's fine. Let me make sure I get priority on this Aquazotz. If they block with it. If not, I'm swordsing it in upkeep, I think. Please keep priority when I put full control game. I'd appreciate it. I'm going to hit this Aquazotz with the swords now, just to make sure I don't have to worry about it. If they use a counterspell on this, that's fine. Yeah, this bat has seen standard play, so it's probably better than I give it credit for. I'm going to give them an army token for me to get a Brutal Cathar flip. Because I don't care. I don't have to care. We call that white-green privilege. Now I have a card that kills them next turn if they don't have anything. It is on board, which is, you know, always a little rough. However, that is a good sign. Although they could have a fatal push. Oh good, there's protection for the fatal push. They might have a make disappear in hand. They might. Anyhow, Dust Animus for the win! Whew. Whew. Alright, alright. With that, it has been 3 hours. And while I definitely technically have the energy, I'm not going to push myself. This has been a great stream. I've been glad that I got to do this. I look forward to doing this more. If you like watching me be an internet clown and do the things, come back on Wednesday. I'm going to be playing some Pirate 101. If you haven't heard of the game, it's a strategy RPG MMO. It's the bastard sibling of Wizard 101, but a very different beast. We're going to be doing some progression on my Witch Doctor, and that's going to be a good time. And then also feel free to come back on Friday, where I'm going to be playing some Poke Rogue. I might opt into some MTG, depending on how I'm feeling, depending on how, Magic's feeling at the moment. Otherwise, I'm going to be playing some Poke Rogue. It's listed as a variety night on my schedule. That's because it's for me to do whatever I'm feeling up to at the moment. And assuming that Poke Rogue hasn't been cease and desisted by then, I'm going to be playing that. So make sure to check back on both Wednesday and Friday, both at the times we were playing today, which was 7 p.m. PST until 10 p.m. PST. This is the schedule that works best currently for my work schedule. We'll be adjusting the schedule as we get along with these kind of things, especially once I'm out of work for the season, because that way I will be able to do more daytime streams, and that'll be a real test of my endurance. So make sure to come back on Wednesday. Make sure to come back on Friday, and then obviously you can join me over on the Gladiator MTGA channel, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, where Justin and I will be commentating the tournament streams that happen over for the Gladiator format. And if you want more information about the format, make sure to join the Discord. We're happy to see you there. And then you can catch me on other socials to see what's going on. For now, because my voice is dying, I'm going to sign off here. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Bye. Alright, before I get too far, is there anyone to raid that's alive? Not really. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to end things before my voice gives out. Bye now.